What's going on, everybody? A Delicious Mango here, back with another YouTube video. Hope you're all having a fantastic day. I'm just going to go ahead and jump right into the topic of today's video, which is if I had to rank every legend in Apex Legends Season 6 and put them in a tier list and order that tier list, how would I do it? And what would the criteria be? And that's what we're going to tackle in today's video. If you guys do enjoy this kind of content, if you enjoy Apex Legends live streams, gameplay, commentaries, clips, montages, any of that kind of content, please do hit that subscribe button down below. You can join the main gang, me and all the others, as we do our live streams. If you hit that bell, you can get notifications on when I go live. And make sure to like the video if you do like the video. So now let's go ahead and jump right into it. The criteria I have in this tier list, and in this tier list it will be ranked, left being the best and right being the worst in that tier. The criteria is mainly based on how I think these legends would operate in ranked or competitive play, and how do they benefit the team. So teams that are heavily reliant on teamwork, which is what this game is all about. Legends that rely on teamwork and have good teamwork options for other legends. Teams with good chemistry. Those kind of legends go higher up on the list. So we can go ahead and start this list right off with the D tier, and these three legends I think have the worst team abilities, the worst tacticals, don't help the team much. Maybe the ultimate helps the team a little bit, not really that overall useful for a team. Is D tier with Octane dead last, then Mirage, and then Loba. So we'll start with our poor boy Octane here. Octane, he's a ton of fun, I can't lie. I play him in public games, I think he's a blast. It's so much fun to run fast, to jump off the jump pad. The passive of his constant healing is fantastic, but he's just not good for a ranked team. His stim does nothing to help his teammates. His passive does nothing to help his teammates. And his jump pad is just a lesser version of the Pathfinder zipline. You can't go as far. You're very obvious once you're in the air. Now they added the double jump, which is nice, but it's just not that useful when compared to the zipline. Can't get you as far. Maybe it can help you push a team, but if you're jump padding right into me, you're probably gonna get shot down pretty easily, even with that double jump. So that's why Octane comes in last. Mirage is second to last. Mirage is here in the D tier because I actually think he's a decent legend for a 1v1. His ability to bamboozle people can definitely help him win fights, and winning your 1v1 fights is obviously incredibly valuable. As long as you're killing your opponent, you're going to end up victorious, but his team utility isn't that great. The only thing he really offers the team is his passive, where he goes invisible when he is reviving a teammate or respawning a teammate. Otherwise, not very useful for the team. Loba is down here D tier, and this is a character that I actually think could be as high up as B tier, but she needs some help. First off, her tactical doesn't work. I'm sure you've seen the videos on Reddit. Her tactical doesn't work very often. I'm a public lobby Loba main. I've got almost 1,500 kills with Loba since Season 5 came out, and I really think that Loba's tactical works for me maybe 75% of the time, which is a horrible number. Her ultimate is useful. I think her ultimate needs to be buffed. I think teammates need to be able to take more items out of her staff. Maybe 4, maybe double the amount that she has right now. It would really make her a much more useful thief. And with that tactical, I think it could also use a buff, aside from it just working in general. I think she should be able to go underneath doors. We see her all the time, and you should be able to slide this thing. In every trailer that they showed us, she's like sliding that little bracelet underneath the door, and we don't get to do that in game. I don't know why. So now let's move on to the C tier, just get right into it with Bangalore, Revenant, and Pathfinder. Now, Bangalore, I have her in C tier instead of D here because while her kit really isn't that useful for the team, her ultimate is a good repositioning tool, and she gets it faster in Season 6 than she ever has, and her smoke is good for covering teammates or shooting it at enemies so you can push up on them. Double time is a great passive. She's just an all-around good character, so I think she winds up in C tier. Revenant, his passive is just being able to climb higher, but he doesn't climb higher faster. He just gets really, really slow on like the last 30% of his climb, which doesn't make a lot of sense. His silence is pretty good. The fact that he has 2 silences, it can be kind of like an area of effect thing where you can throw it down in a doorway and block people from coming out, even though they could just push out anyway, but they'll lose their abilities for 20 seconds. It is fairly useful, but I don't think it's great by any means. His best part of his kit is clearly his ultimate, where you get to place down a death totem, turn your brain off, and just run at the enemies and do as much damage as you can. That's really the best part of this kit, is just being able to turn your brain off and run into some place where you have no business of going into, and hopefully dealing a ton of damage or chucking grenades or whatever you can do. Pathfinder, this one hurts. Not too long ago, Pathfinder was maybe one of the best legends in the game. Now, with the buffs to the Recon Legend group, which is Bloodhound, Crypto, and Pathfinder. I think Pathfinder is actually the worst recon legend in the game, and I'll explain why. So every legend now, every recon legend, Bloodhound, Crypto, and Pathfinder, they all have the ability to scan beacons. That was his original passive, and so now his passive is kind of gone. They tried to give him a little something where as many times as he scans a beacon, his cooldown gets reduced by 10 seconds on his zipline gun, which is his ultimate. And that's cool, I guess, but it's really not that important. I mean, how many times are you thinking, man, I really want to scan this beacon because the difference in 10 seconds on my zipline could mean life or death for me? That's just not the way it ever works, especially with Pathfinder, who gets his zipline pretty quickly anyway. So I think the Pathfinder, along with his grapple nerf, being able to only do it 35 seconds at a time, it feels like an entire ring, you can only use it once. So Pathfinder is down in the C tier. I doubt he'll stay this way. We have confirmation from the devs that he'll be getting a passive rework, and I can't wait to see that. But for now, our boy Pathy, all the way down at the C tier. At B tier, we have Rampart, Lifeline, and Caustic. Now these are 3 legends that I do think you could take into ranked and maybe competitive, and you could see some viable success with them, but they're in B tier because I think they all have really good roles that they fit, and they all have one big downside. So let's start with Rampart. Rampart could go up maybe if we see something, see some pros really using her very well, utilizing her kit. The best part about her kit, without a doubt, to me, is the amp walls. Having the ability to shoot a burst hemlock through an amp wall, it can almost 2-burst someone with 200 health. I mean, it's unbelievable. The amount of damage the amp wall does is maybe only like 15 to 20%, but that's a huge boost when you're using, big damaging guns like the hemlock. Her passive, which is her affinity for LMGs, allows her to have bigger mag sizes and reload faster. It's cool and all on the Spitfire, it's useful on the L-Star, on the Devotion, this thing is nuts. I'm telling you, every time, my good buddy Tim, that's who we grind ranked with, and Tim, as soon as he sees the little replicators drop big devotions and he plays Rampart, he goes immediately, crafts himself a turbocharger, crafts himself a purple energy extended mag, and crafts himself a devotion. And with Rampart, that combo is unbelievable. She's like walking around with a care package weapon all the time when you get a devotion. So that part of her passive is really, really strong. Her ultimate, Sheila, her mounted turret, I still haven't found a lot of success using it recently. Teammates will throw it down, I'll throw it down, I'll try to get on it, but I still find myself having better luck with just using my normal guns. My normal guns don't have a big red laser that shows on it. I can move around with my guns. Most people just seem to hide. I'm sure the turret is useful when you're shooting people that are running away from the ring or something like that, but I just haven't found it useful in that many scenarios. Most of the time, I'd just rather have the amped wall and use my normal gun. Lifeline, very, very useful. The ability with her new passive to revive teammates hands-free, your first teammate hands-free, that is a game changer for her. She can, as many times as her teammate gets down, she can pick them right back up and then use that shield as an impenetrable defense. You can't shoot through it, you can't shoot grenades through it, you have to throw grenades over it and around it, then even if you do that and knock the person she just picked up, she can just pick them up again. So Lifeline, that is a very, very useful. Health drone, of course, is useful. Care package got buffed, so now you get more shield cells, which I think is the biggest part of this kit. The ability to get more shield cells, because in ranked games it seems like you're always running low on shields. So Lifeline is very useful. Only weakness of Lifelines is the fact that most of her abilities, like her passive ability, really isn't useful until someone gets down. Her health drone really isn't useful until someone loses all their shield. She doesn't have fast heal anymore, so just seems like she's useful when you're losing a fight, and you never really want to be losing a fight. Now, you will end up losing fights sometimes, but I think I'd rather have a legend that's not reliant on a teammate getting down to use one of their abilities. Caustic is the top legend in B tier simply because his gas is still very good. A lot of people have figured out how to play around it. The nerf to his canisters, where you can shoot any part of them while they're inflating, is very good for other legends, but for him, it's proved to be a little bit of a downside. I still think that he's probably the best zoner character, and being able to throw out his ultimate as long as it doesn't get eaten up by a Wattson pylon, Wattson we will be seeing soon. Outside of Wattson, Caustic is the best defender of buildings. He is absolutely fantastic at breaching and clearing with that gas. He can protect himself by throwing down a barrel and shooting it and hiding behind it to heal or reviving someone. He can hide himself in his gas and his teammates if he needs to revive someone, kind of like Bangalore does with her smoke. So Caustic is very, very good in that regard. His only weakness is everything revolves around gas. Other than Fortified, which is he takes 15% less damage, he's just a big body with not a lot of range on his abilities. So gas is very useful, but it can be played around, which is why he's a B tier. Now to A tier, which is Crypto, Gibraltar, Bloodhound, and Wattson. And I can tell you, I did not see this A tier coming at the beginning of Season 6. I didn't think Crypto was an A tier character. I didn't think Bloodhound was anywhere close to an A tier character, but here we are. So let's go ahead and start with Crypto, who's at the bottom of A tier. Crypto's drone got a huge buff with the ability to get ring knowledge. Now Crypto, the most important part of Pathfinder when you played competitively was not the fact that everyone gets zip lines, you can get high ground, zip around, and all that. It was never that. The most important part of Pathfinder's kit was ring knowledge, knowing where the ring went so you can get there quickly. Now with Crypto, you don't even have to be near the beacon. You can just fly your drone up and you get it instantly. There's no animation. You fly up to it, you press whatever button you need to press, whether you're on console or PC, you press that button and instantly you have ring knowledge and everyone on your team knows it. The ability to scan is still useful, but it's really the EMP that's the next big part of his kit. The EMP stuns your teammates now, but it doesn't take down their shield, which is good. His Crypto EMP is still a great breaching and clearing thing for his team. He's able to take down all sorts of traps, pylons. I don't think it takes down amp walls, I'm not entirely sure, but Crypto's EMP is incredibly useful. So Crypto comes in at the bottom of A tier because of those buffs to his drone and all of the recon class in general, being able to get ring knowledge. Gibraltar now. Gibraltar is the third legend in A tier. He's just all around fantastic. The gun shield is a nuisance, basically 50 free health, and it can eat Kraber bullets and you don't take any damage. That gun shield is a monster. His Fortified is nice. He's big, but Fortified helps him a lot. His dome shield, faster revives inside the shield, faster heals inside the shield. His ultimate is the best offensive ultimate as far as, the bombs. The Bangalore bombs aren't that useful because they take forever to detonate. But Gibraltar is really good at attacking people with his ultimate, so that is very useful. You can throw it right outside of your dome bubble and make people come in to fight you or run away and give you time to heal. So Gibraltar, all around, very, very useful legend. Bloodhound now is my third highest ranked legend in Apex Legends, and I was not expecting that, but I'll give you my reasoning as to why that is. So first, Bloodhound's passive is still tracking, which isn't that great, but now since he's a recon legend, he has the ability to scan for the ring. So now he gets Pathfinder's best opportunities as well, where he gets to scan the ring, gets to see exactly the information he needs, which is where's the next ring going to go, and you can go ahead and get set up. You won't be caught, you won't be caught sleeping out in the outside of the ring trying to get in when the storm closes on you, because you'll have a Bloodhound on your team and you'll know where the next ring is. You can go ahead and rotate early, which is huge and competitive. His tactical, of course, is the same. It scans a big distance, which is great, but even better is his tactical when you're in his ultimate, and his ultimate got a humongous buff. So if you would kill someone or down someone in the last 10 seconds, I think it's 5 seconds of your ultimate, you get 15 seconds added to your ultimate instead of just the normal 5, which is huge. It's basically triple the amount that you would have been getting. Keeps you in that ultimate longer. And not only are you in that ultimate longer, but your tactical is improved by being in your ultimate. Your tactical comes out twice as fast, it still extends the same amount of range, and you can use it every 6 seconds. Now think about it this way, you use it every 6 seconds, and the highlights on your screen show for 4 seconds. So that basically means in a 35-second timer, your entire team can see the entire other enemy team through the walls for 28 seconds, which is a huge boost to your team. It's like turning on wall hacks for half a minute. I mean, the value of that is unbelievable in a fight. It can totally change the fight. It's changed a lot of fights that I've had, both in ranked, public lobbies, all of it. Bloodhound, I think, is a top 3 legend in this game right now, and it's really unbelievable because just last season I would have never imagined myself saying that. Wattson is here at the top of A tier, and I don't actually think that Wattson. I do think that Wattson belongs in the top of A tier, but I really think she should be in the S tier, but she's getting nerfed for competitive and not for ranked, because her pick rate isn't that big in regular Apex Legends. Her kit entirely, her nerfs and buffs entirely revolve around the competitive scene, because every team in competitive was running a Wattson at one point. You know, no one defends your team quite like her. She can lock down a building, you know, better than anyone else. She is the only legend that you really have to play around. You know, with Caustic, there's ways to get through it. I guess with Wattson now, with crypto EMPs, there's a way through it. But for a long time, Wattson was the queen of the map. You know, if Wattson wanted a building, that was her building and you had to go somewhere else. And it's still somewhat the case. Wattson, I believe, is only in A tier in my list because her pylons don't last forever. If her pylons lasted forever, they could still be as flimsy as they are now and get burst destroyed with one crypto EMP, which is another nerf she had to suffer through. You know, she's getting massacred by the devs, even with such a tiny pick rate in pubs. But if her pylon lasted forever and allowed you to heal your shields for longer rather than just 90 seconds, then she would still be S tier. But for right now, she's at the top of A tier because she's still one of the best legends in the game. But without further ado, the best legend in the game, and therefore my only legend in S tier, is Wraith. And she is the best character for your team, bar none, for these reasons. 1. Her passive gives her the ability to get voices from the void, which basically warns you if someone is aiming at you. That helps the whole team because she can alert her team. It allows your team to never get caught off guard, which is something that definitely happens to a lot of other legends. You can get sniped from somewhere, you'll have no idea where. If someone aims at a Wraith, she's gonna know. She's gonna tell your team, and now your team's on high alert. Her tactical is into the void. She can now go, I think it's twice as long inside the void, and she's faster, but it takes her a little bit longer to get into the void. A little change in the middle of Season 5, but it wasn't a big issue. In fact, a lot of people think that was a buff to her kit. And her void ability, or her portal ability, her ultimate, allows teammates to travel through the void and get from point A to point B damage free. She can combine her portal and her void to set her portal damage free. I mean, the ability to move your team, to warn your team when enemies are coming, to reposition your team for free, to get out of jail for free. I mean, there's still no kid in the game that quite matches what Wraith can do for yourself or for your team. She's selfishly the best legend, she's team-oriented the best legend, and Wraith is probably the only legend that I've seen go through entire tournaments where every single team picks this legend. Not every team picks Wattson, not every team picks Gibraltar, not every team picks Pathfinder or Caustic or Crypto, but every single team picks a Wraith, and there's a good reason for that. So guys, that's going to be the end of this video. What did you guys think of my overall tier list? I'll show it to you here on the screen. Remember that the tiers are ordered from left being the best to right being the worst. Let me know down in the comments, what do you guys think? Do you guys have a problem with my tier list? Is your legend not high enough? Is your legend too high? Do you think there should be more tiers? Do you think there should be, someone else in the S tier? Let me know down below. Guys, again, please like the video if you did enjoy the video, and subscribe if you do like Apex content. We live stream nearly every day and post a video on days we don't. So of course we'll have plenty of content to keep you guys entertained. But that'll be it for today's video. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Later, skaters.